seismograph's been scratching weird since Tuesday. Not earthquake weird. I've been reading these Campbell Pacific sensors for 11 years, ever since the USGS hired me out of community college, but wrong weird. The trace lines look like someone dragged a fork through wet concrete. I keep adjusting the gain on the kinemetrics unit, thinking maybe the amplifier's shot, but the digital backup shows the same thing. My field site's 40 miles west of Denver, up past Evergreen where the Front Range really starts climbing. Station CP 447. Just me, usually, unless there's a swarm event. Then Rodriguez brings the graduate students and they complain about the porta-john situation. Which, yeah, fair. The thing hasn't been serviced since August and it's October now. I called facilities 3 times. They keep saying budget freeze. I'm supposed to check the borehole sensors every morning. We've got instruments 200 feet down monitoring ground strain, temperature, fluid pressure. Boring work 99% of the time. I drink gas station coffee, the 7-Eleven on Highway 74, the one where the ATM's been broken for 6 months, and I watch numbers not change. My ex-wife Denise used to say I picked the most boring job on earth. She wasn't totally wrong, but it's steady. Federal benefits. I see my daughter Lily every other weekend and Wednesday nights, which is today, so I'm planning to quit at 3 instead of 5. She's got a piano recital thing at her school, Evergreen Elementary, Mrs. Hartford's class. The weird traces started right after the 3.4 magnitude we had Tuesday morning. Centered about 8 miles northwest of here, depth 12 kilometers. Totally normal for this area. We're on the edge of the Colorado mineral belt. Lots of old mining activity, groundwater shifts, seasonal stress changes. The Front Range gets dozens of small quakes every year. Most people don't even feel them. But this one, I don't know. Something about the aftershock pattern. Or not aftershock pattern because there weren't any. A 3.4 should give us at least a few magnitude 2s in the next day or two. Instead, nothing. Just these scratchy, continuous traces like the ground's vibrating at frequencies the sensors aren't designed to catch. I'm staring at the laptop when the smell hits me. It's okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but it smells like my grandmother's basement in Greeley. That specific wet limestone and mold smell from when you leave concrete damp too long. Except we're at 9,000 feet elevation in a metal equipment shed with a gravel floor. There shouldn't be any basement smell. There shouldn't be any smell except pine trees and the porta-john when the wind's wrong. I step outside. Clear October morning. Aspens turning gold down the slope. That thin, high-altitude air that makes flatlanders wheeze. And the smell's stronger out here. It's coming from upslope. From the direction of the Tuesday epicenter. Rodriguez isn't answering his cell. He's based at the Golden Office, coordinates 5 field stations including mine. I try the main USGS line. Get voicemail. It's 10:47 a.m. on a Wednesday. Someone should be answering. The smell's getting worse. I grab my field kit, Garmin GPS unit, digital camera, sample bags, the good Brunton compass, not the piece of crap they issued me, and I start hiking upslope. Following my nose, basically. Which isn't how you're supposed to do field investigations, but I've been doing this long enough to know when something's off. 15 minutes up, I find the crack. It's not big, maybe 4 feet long, 6 inches wide at the widest point. Fresh. The rock edges are sharp, unweathered, and it's breathing. I don't mean metaphorically. There's air moving through it. I can feel the draft on my face. Warm air, which makes no sense because it's 45 degrees up here and any subsurface air should be cooler. And that smell, Jesus, like wet stone and something else. Something organic, mushroomy. I'm crouching there with my camera, Nikon D3500, bought it myself because the USGS issued ones are garbage. Taking photos of the crack when I notice the powder on the rocks nearby. White powder, crystalline, coating the granite in a thin layer maybe 3-4 feet radius from the crack. I touch it, wipe my fingers together. Not snow, not frost. Feels like I used to do drywall work before the USGS summers during college. It feels like joint compound powder. Gypsum dust. But we're on Pikes Peak granite up here. No gypsum deposits I've ever heard of. I'm bagging a sample when my radio crackles. It's the emergency frequency. NOAA weather radio, part of my standard kit. I keep it on because lightning's a real problem up here and I need the warnings. But this isn't a weather alert. It's a voice. Male, stressed, reading from a script. Emergency alert for Boulder, Jefferson, Clear Creek, and Gilpin counties. Fault vents have been detected releasing unknown biological contaminants. Residents are advised to remain indoors with windows closed until further notice. Respirators are recommended for anyone in areas west of Interstate 70. Repeat, fault vents are releasing biological hazard. This is not a test. I'm still holding the sample bag, looking at the white powder on my fingers, the crack breathing its wet basement air into my face. My phone rings. Rodriguez. Finally. Where are you? His voice is too high. Rodriguez never sounds like that. He's the calm one. The guy who talked a graduate student down from a panic attack during the 2019 swarm when we had 40 quakes in one day. Station 447. There's a crack up here, Rod. Fresh surface rupture from Tuesday's quake. And there's this powder. Get out of there. Right now. Don't touch anything. Don't breathe near the vents. I already touched it. I'm collecting samples. What's going on? We're evacuating all field stations west of Golden. Pack your equipment, get in your truck, head east. That's a direct order. Rodriguez, I've got a meeting at 3. Lily's recital. Forget the recital. Where does your daughter go to school? Evergreen. Evergreen Elementary. Why? Silence on the line. Long enough that I check if the call dropped. Rodriguez. Evergreen's at 7,300 feet. 40 miles almost straight downslope from the vent cluster. What vent cluster? This is one crack, for feet long. We've detected 17 new surface ruptures in the past 2 hours, all in a 6-mile radius of Tuesday's epicenter. And there are reports coming in, people are getting sick, respiratory problems, skin irritation. One guy in Netherlands walked into the clinic this morning and his left arm was, they said it looked calcified, like his skin was turning to chalk. The white powder on my fingers. I'm staring at it. It's on my hands, under my fingernails. I was crouching right over the crack, breathing that warm mushroom air for 5 minutes while I took photos. What is it? I'm asking, but I'm also walking now, fast, back downslope toward my truck. What's coming out of these vents? We don't know yet. Something from deep geological strata. Precambrian, maybe older. The quake must have breached a sealed layer. CDC's been notified. FEMA's mobilizing. But right now, we need our people out of the contamination zone. You said Evergreen's downslope. Yes. Are they evacuating Evergreen? Another pause. Shorter this time. Not yet. They're still assessing spread patterns. But the prevailing winds are eastward and slightly south. If this is airborne. My daughter's in Evergreen right now. I'm running now. The equipment shed's in sight. She's at school. They do early lunch 11:30. If there are spores or whatever, if they're airborne, Evergreen's right in the path. I understand that, but you need to. I'm not evacuating east. I'm going to get Lily. That's directly into the contamination zone. Then I'll wear a respirator. I've got the full-face 3M in my kit, the P100 filters. I reach my truck, 2015 Ford F-150, needs new shocks but the engine's solid. My field equipment's in the bed, tarped. The laptop's still inside the shed, still recording those weird scratchy traces. Rodriguez is talking but I'm not listening. I'm thinking about Lily, about her piano recital. about how she's been practicing fur elise for 6 weeks, and she's so proud she can play the whole thing without mistakes now. About how her school's at 7,300 feet elevation and my instruments just measured a fresh vent at 9,200 feet and wind patterns move downslope in the morning, upslope in the afternoon. It's 11:08 a.m. I have to go, I tell Rodriguez. I'm getting my daughter. Wait. I hang up, throw my field kit in the truck. The laptop can stay. The seismograph can keep recording. I've got 40 miles of mountain highway between here and Evergreen Elementary, and I'm already calculating how much white powder might be drifting down that slope right now on the morning wind. The sample bag's still in my hand. The powder's still on my fingers. I wipe it on my jeans without thinking. Then I think about it, about what Rodriguez said, calcified, like his skin was turning to chalk. I grab the hand sanitizer from the center console, the Purell bottle Denise left in here 2 years ago. Squeeze half of it onto my hands, scrubbing hard. The white powder dissolves. Mostly, I can still see traces in the creases of my knuckles. The radio's still going. Different voice now, female, reading county names and coordinates, telling people to shelter in place. Respirators recommended. Avoid areas west of I-70. Evergreens west of I-70. I start the truck. The engine turns over on the second try. Needs a new battery. Been meaning to replace it. Check my phone. Denise texted me at 10:30. Can you pick Lily up at 4 instead of 5? I have a thing. I text back, coming now. Emergency. Keep her inside. It's 11:11 a.m. The school lunch period started 1 minute ago. 300 kids eating in a cafeteria with windows that open onto a playground that faces west. Upslope, toward 17 fresh fault vents breathing prehistoric something into the October morning. I'm doing 60 down the fire road before I remember I left the equipment shed unlocked. The seismograph's still running. Still scratching those wrong frequencies onto paper that no one's going to read because everyone's going to be too busy dealing with whatever's coming out of those cracks. The smell's in my truck now, or maybe it's on me, on my clothes. That wet limestone mushroom smell that reminds me of my grandmother's basement where she kept the canning jars and the boxes of old photographs and where, when I was 8 years old, I found a dead bird that had gotten trapped down there and decomposed into something white and crystalline and wrong. Highway 74's clear. For now, I pass 2 cars heading east. Neither one stops. My phone rings again. Rodriguez. I don't answer. I've got 37 miles to go. I'm passing through Kittredge when I see the first one. Side of the road. Pickup truck pulled onto the shoulder. Driver's door open. And standing next to it, I think it's a person at first. Same height, same general shape, but the color's wrong. White, bone white, like a plaster cast of a human being. I slow down, can't help it. The thing's just standing there, one arm extended toward the truck bed like it was reaching for something and froze mid-motion. The detail's perfect. I can see the texture of what used to be a jacket, the individual fingers, even the wrinkles in the pants at the knees. Then I see the cracks. Spiderweb fractures running up the legs across the torso, like dried mud or old porcelain. I'm doing maybe 20 now, staring, and that's when a piece falls off. The extended arm. It breaks at the elbow, drops, hits the asphalt and shatters into white powder and larger chunks, like dropping a ceramic plate. The wind catches the powder, blows it across the highway. I accelerate, hard. The F-150's engine complains, but I'm doing 70 through a 45 zone and I don't care. My windows are up. The vents are closed. I'm breathing through my shirt anyway, pulled up over my nose and mouth, which probably does nothing, but it's all I've got until I can get to the respirator in my field kit. My phone's ringing. Denise. I answer on speaker. Where are you? She asks. Your text said emergency. What emergency? Are you home? Is Lily with you? She's at school. What's going on? Turn on the news. Any channel. There's something happened. A geological event. Contamination. You need to go get Lily right now. Right now, Denise. You're scaring me. Good. Be scared. Get in your car, drive to the school, get our daughter and go east. As far east as you can. Out of the mountains. Denver, Aurora, I don't care. Just east. I'm at work. I can't just leave. Yes, you can. I'm passing another vehicle pulled over. Another statue. This one smaller. Child-sized. I look away. This is a USGS emergency evacuation order. Official. Rodriguez called it in. Everyone west of Golden needs to get out. You work for USGS and you're telling me to evacuate? I'm telling you to get Lily. Please. I'm on my way there now, but I'm still 20 minutes out, and if the contamination's moving as fast as I think. Static on the line. Not the call dropping. Background noise. TV maybe. Denise must have turned on the news like I said. Oh my God, she says. Is that Boulder? That's footage from Boulder. There are those people. Denise, listen to me. Get off the phone. Get in your car. Get Lily. Do it now. Okay. I'm going. She hangs up. I'm coming into Evergreen now. The town looks normal. Too normal. People walking dogs. Someone getting mail from a roadside box. An old guy washing his car in his driveway like it's any other Wednesday. Don't they hear the radio? Don't they see the news? My phone rings again. Rodriguez. I answer because maybe he's got information I need. Where are you? He asks. Evergreen. Getting my daughter. Listen to me carefully. We've been analyzing the spread pattern. This isn't just airborne particulate. The spores, whatever they are, they're heavier than air. They're moving downslope following gravity and wind patterns, but they're also moving through groundwater. The fault vents are interconnected. There's a subsurface network we didn't know existed. What does that mean? It means surface elevation doesn't matter as much as we thought. If there's a basement, a well, any groundwater connection, the spores can come up through there. They're finding cases in Boulder. People in basement apartments. Someone doing laundry. Another guy said his sump pump started releasing white powder. I'm thinking about Evergreen Elementary. It's an old building. 50s construction, maybe 60s. Before modern building codes. Definitely has a basement. Boiler room, storage, maybe maintenance access to old pipes. How fast does it happen? The calcification. How long from exposure? We don't know. The guy in Netherlands, the first documented case, he walked into the clinic at 9:15. By 9:45, his entire left arm had calcified. By 10:30, it had spread to his chest and neck. They tried to keep him in the ER, but the hospital administrator made them move him outside because pieces were starting to fall off and the dust was affecting the nursing staff. Is he dead? We don't know. He stopped responding to questions around 11 o'clock. But he's still standing. Or was, as of 15 minutes ago. The clinic evacuated. I'm pulling into the school parking lot. There are cars here. Too many cars. Nobody's evacuating. The playground has kids on it. I can see them through the chain link fence. 20-30 kids running around, playing, breathing mountain air that might be full of prehistoric fungal spores right now. I'm at the school, I tell Rodriguez. They haven't evacuated. The official evacuation order is still just for areas west of I-70. Evergreen's technically east, barely, but the superintendent probably doesn't understand the geological situation. You need to make them understand. How? You're USGS. You've got credentials. Show them. Tell them what you saw. The statues, the powder, the vent network. Make them evacuate. That's not my job. I monitor seismographs. I don't have authority to. You're the only government scientist in Evergreen right now. You're what they've got. If you don't convince them, those kids. He doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. I hang up, grab my field kit from the back seat. The respirators in there, 3M full face with P100 filters, the good ones, same as what we use for volcanic ash sampling. I strap it on, check the seal. The world gets quieter inside the mask. My breathing sounds loud. I can smell the rubber. The school's front office is locked. There's a buzzer. I press it. A voice crackles through the intercom. Female, older. Can I help you? I need to speak to whoever's in charge. Immediately. It's an emergency. Are you a parent? Yes. My daughter's in 3rd grade. Mrs. Hartford's class. But this isn't about her specifically. This is about all the kids. You need to evacuate right now. Pause. Sir, are you wearing a gas mask? It's a respirator, certified for biological hazards. You need to get everyone inside, seal the building, and prepare for immediate evacuation. There's a contamination event in progress. Fungal spores from fault vents west of here. They're moving downslope and evergreens directly in the path. Another pause. Longer. I'm going to need to see some identification. I pull out my USGS badge. Hold it up to the camera. My name is... Shit. I haven't actually said my name yet. My name is Trevor Holt. I'm a field seismologist with the United States Geological Survey. I monitor earthquake activity for the Front Range region. Tuesday's 3.4 magnitude quake opened fault vents that are releasing biological contaminants. This is an official warning. The door buzzes. I pull it open. Inside, the school smells like every elementary school I've ever been in. Floor wax and pencil shavings and that weird cafeteria smell. A woman in her 60s is standing behind the front desk, staring at my respirator. Her nameplate says, Mrs. Donnelly, Administrative Assistant. You're serious, she says. Completely serious. Where's your principal? He's at a district meeting in Denver. Won't be back until 2. Who's in charge right now? I am, I guess, and Mrs. Yamamoto. She's the vice principal. Get her, and get on the PA system. Tell all teachers to bring their students inside immediately. Anyone on the playground, in the parking lot, anywhere outside. Get them in and seal the building. Seal the building? Close all windows. Turn off any ventilation that brings in outside air. If you've got HVAC with recirculation mode, use that. Do you have a basement? Yes. Old storage rooms. Boiler room. Is anyone down there right now? The janitor might be. Mr. Patterson usually. Get him out. Radio him, call him, whatever. Get him out of that basement and tell him not to go back down. Mrs. Donnelly is staring at me like I might be crazy. Which, fair. I'm standing in an elementary school wearing a full-face respirator ranting about fungal spores. But she's also reaching for the phone. Let me talk to the USGS office, she says. Verify what you're telling me. Call them, but do it while you're getting those kids inside. She picks up the phone, dials, waits. I watch her face change as whoever answers, probably Rodriguez, maybe someone at the main switchboard, confirms what I'm saying. She hangs up, grabs the PA microphone. Attention all staff. This is Mrs. Donnelly with an emergency announcement. All students currently outside the building are to be brought inside immediately. Close and lock all exterior doors and windows. This is not a drill. Teachers, secure your classrooms and await further instructions. Mr. Patterson, if you're in the building, please come to the main office. The PA clicks off. Mrs. Donnelly looks at me. They're saying it's real. The USGS operator said there's a state of emergency declared for 4 counties. Federal Emergency Management is mobilizing. Where's my daughter's classroom? 3rd grade wing. East side, room 117. I'm already moving. Down the hallway, past bulletin boards with student artwork, past the library with its door open, past a water fountain that's probably connected to groundwater that's probably connected to fault vents that are breathing white powder into aquifers right now. Room 117. The door's open. I can see kids at desks. Mrs. Hartford at the front, young, late 20s maybe, looking confused about the PA announcement. And there's Lily, second row, third desk back. Brown hair in the braids Denise did this morning. Pink jacket she was so excited about, the one from Target that was on sale. She's turning around to look at the door, probably because she heard my boots on the tile, and I see her face register who I am and then register the respirator I'm wearing. Her expression is confusion first, then fear. Dad. Mrs. Hartford steps forward. Sir, you can't just walk into. I'm evacuating my daughter. You should evacuate all of them. There's a biological hazard. Airborne spores. The school needs to be cleared. I just heard the announcement about bringing kids inside. Nobody said anything about evacuating. That's because Mrs. Donnelly hasn't gotten the official order yet, but it's coming. I've been in contact with USGS Command. The contamination's moving faster than initial projections. Evergreens in the direct path. I'm walking toward Lily. She's standing now. Other kids are staring. A few look scared. Most just look confused. Lily, get your things. We're leaving. What about my backpack? She's looking around. And I was going to. Just grab your jacket. We're going now. Mrs. Hartford has her phone out. I'm calling the principal. He's in Denver. Mrs. Donnelly's in charge. Ask her. She'll confirm everything I just said. I've got Lily's hand now. She's holding her pink jacket, looking back at her desk, at her friends, at the normal Wednesday that just stopped being normal. Dad, you're scaring me. What's happening? I'll explain in the truck. We need to go. We're in the hallway when I hear it. A sound I recognize from 11 years of monitoring seismic equipment. A low-frequency rumble. Not quite subaudible, but almost. You feel it more than hear it. The windows are rattling slightly. The floor has a vibration you can feel through your boots. Another quake, or something like a quake. Something moving underground. Mrs. Donnelly is at the office door. Mr. Holt, the USGS says. The sound gets louder, not from outside, from inside the building, from below, from the basement, and then the smell hits. Even through my respirator's filters, I can smell it. That wet limestone mushroom smell I first noticed at the fault vent 40 miles upslope. It's here. It's in the building. Everyone out. I'm yelling. Right now. Everyone out of the building. East side exits only. Not the west side. East. Go toward the parking lot. Run. Mrs. Hartford has understood. She's shouting at her class. Line up at the door. We're evacuating. Stay together. Follow me. I'm moving toward the east exit, Lily's hand in mine. Other classroom doors are opening. Teachers herding confused kids into the hallway. Someone's crying. A little girl, maybe first grade, asking where her mom is. The basement door is at the intersection of two hallways. It's old. Green paint peeling. Metal handle. And there's white powder coming out from underneath it. Not a lot. Just a thin line of dust spreading across the tile floor. As I watch, the powder starts moving. Not from air currents. It's moving on its own. Like it's crawling. Spreading. Individual particles climbing over each other. Extending in tendrils across the floor toward the nearest classroom door. Don't touch that. I'm shouting. Everyone stay away from that door. Move to the east exits. Now. We're running now. Not quite panic, but close. Teachers trying to maintain order. Kids crying. The rumblings getting louder. Something's happening in the basement. something geological, or biological, or both. The east exit is ahead. Daylight, parking lot, my truck visible through the glass doors. We burst outside. Fresh air, cold. I rip off my respirator because Lily's looking at me like I'm a stranger and I need her to see my face. It's okay, I'm saying. We're okay. We're gonna get in the truck and drive to Denver. Meet Mom there. Everything's going to be fine. But I'm looking back at the school, at the west-facing windows, and I can see it now. White powder on the glass. Not condensation, not frost. The same white crystalline dust that was on the rocks around the fault vent. It's coating the windows, growing, spreading, like frost patterns but faster, organic. Mrs. Donnelly is outside now, on her cell phone. Yes, this is Evergreen Elementary. We're evacuating right now. We need buses. We need. She stops, staring at something across the parking lot. I follow her gaze. Mr. Patterson, the janitor, he's standing near the service entrance, not moving, and he's white, not his clothes, him, his skin, his face, his hands, white like chalk, like marble, like the statue I saw on Highway 74. He's still holding a wrench. I can see it in his right hand. His arm is extended like he was about to open the service door, but he's frozen, mid-step, one foot raised slightly off the pavement. We're all staring. Teachers, kids, Mrs. Donnelly. Nobody's moving, and then Mr. Patterson tips over. Slowly, like a statue being pushed. He hits the asphalt and shatters. His legs break off at the knees, his arm at the shoulder. His head doesn't break, but it rolls, leaving a trail of white powder behind it. The wind catches the powder, blows it toward the west-facing classrooms, toward the kids who are still coming out of those exits, toward the playground where 30 kids were running around 15 minutes ago. East, I'm shouting. Everyone move east, away from the building. Get to the far side of the parking lot. I'm pulling Lily toward my truck. She's seen Mr. Patterson. She's seen what's left of him. She's making a sound I've never heard her make before. Not quite screaming, more like a dog whining, high-pitched, terrified. Don't look, I tell her. Look at me, just at me. But I'm looking, at the school, at the white powder spreading up the west side windows, at the basement door visible through the glass, now hanging open, white dust pouring out like smoke. At the other vehicles in the parking lot, 5-6 cars, some with people still inside them, waiting for their kids, and I can see them starting to change, the color shifting, skin going pale, then white, then calcified. Rodriguez was wrong about the timeline. It doesn't take an hour, it takes minutes, maybe less if the concentration's high enough. Get in the truck, I tell Lily. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me. Where are you going? I have to help. I have to. What can I help with? I'm a seismograph technician. I read sensors and download data files. I don't know anything about fungal spores or biological contamination or how to stop white powder that turns people into statues. But Rodriguez's words are in my head. You're the only government scientist in Evergreen right now. You're what they've got. Stay in the truck, I tell Lily. I'll be right back. I don't know if I'll be right back. I don't know if any of us will be anything but white powder and broken pieces by the time this is over. But I'm running back toward the crowd of teachers and kids anyway, toward Mrs. Donnelly who's still on the phone, toward the school that's breathing prehistoric contamination from its basement, toward whatever comes next. Because that's the job. That's what you do when the ground breaks open and something impossible comes out. You deal with it, even when you have no idea how. Mrs. Donnelly's phone call isn't going well. I can hear her end of it. No, I understand there are multiple emergencies. I'm telling you we have contamination at Evergreen Elementary right now. Our janitor he turned to stone. He shattered on the pavement. The children saw it. She's listening. Her face goes tight. 2 hours? We can't wait 2 hours for buses. We need evacuation now. I grabbed the phone from her hand. This is Trevor Holt, USGS. Who am I speaking to? A harried female voice. This is Jefferson County Emergency Management. Sir, I need that phone line. You have contamination protocol for this? For fungal spores that calcify human tissue in minutes. We're coordinating with CDC and FEMA. Current guidance is shelter in place until... Shelter in place doesn't work. The spores are coming through basement infrastructure, through groundwater. Any building with a basement or well connection is compromised. These people need immediate evacuation east, away from the vent cluster. Sir, we have 17 schools in the county requesting evacuation. We have hospitals requesting patient transport. We have nursing homes with immobile residents. I understand your situation, but you're going to have to wait for transport. We can't wait. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The contamination is inside the building right now. It's spreading through the HVAC system. In 30 minutes, this entire parking lot is going to be a field of statues. Silence on the line. Then, use personal vehicles. Anyone who can drive, have them take as many children as possible. Head east on Highway 74 to I-70, then northeast toward the plains. Get out of the mountains. That's the best I can do. She hangs up. Mrs. Donnelly is staring at me. Personal vehicles? Most of our parents work in Denver. They can't get here for an hour, maybe more. Teachers, 23 of them standing in various clusters around the parking lot, trying to keep 300 kids calm. Maybe 6 personal vehicles still operational in the lot. The rest are already showing the white discoloration. Contaminated. How many teachers live in Evergreen? I ask Mrs. Donnelly. I don't know. Maybe 8, 10. Tell them to go home. Right now. Get their cars and come back. We'll load kids by grade level. Youngest first. Pack them in. Forget car seat laws. Forget occupancy limits. Just get them east. And the rest. I look at my truck. Four-door cab. Technically seats 5, but I've had 7 people in it before. Crammed. Beds empty. We improvise. Mrs. Hartford is next to me suddenly. I have a Subaru. It's right there, pointing to a blue Outback. I can take 8 kids if some sit on laps. Do it. Take whoever's crying the hardest. Get them calm. Get them safe. Another teacher, older guy, gray beard, looks like he should have retired 5 years ago, raises his hand. I've got a van, 12 passenger. I can take 15 if we squeeze. Go. Everyone who has a vehicle, load up. Priority to kindergarten and first grade. Anyone having a panic attack. Anyone with asthma or respiratory issues, actually scratch that. If they've got respiratory issues, they need out of here immediately. Teachers are moving, herding kids. Mrs. Hartford's already at her Outback opening doors. The graybeard guy is jogging toward the van. Rodriguez calls. I answer. Where are you? He asks. Still at the school. Emergency management says they can't get buses for 2 hours. We're using personal vehicles. Trevor, listen. We've got new data. The vent network, it's not random. There's a pattern. The quakes opened a specific fault system. Precambrian structures. Some of the deepest geology in North America. And the spore concentration increases with proximity to the main vent cluster. Which is where? 8 miles northwest of your monitoring station. Near an old mining operation, the Sutton Mine, closed in 1987. It goes down almost 3,000 feet. We think the earthquake reopened the lower levels and they're connected to the fault network. So what? We capped the mine. It's not that simple. The mine's flooded, has been for 30 years, but the water level dropped 40 feet in the last 2 days. The spores are coming up through groundwater, following aquifers, springs, natural drainage. Evergreen sits on an alluvial fan from that exact watershed. I'm watching Mrs. Hartford's Outback pull out of the parking lot. 8 kids crammed inside, their faces pressed against windows. One of them is waving, like this is a field trip. Trevor, are you listening? I'm listening. You're saying Evergreen's geology makes it a natural collection point for contaminated groundwater. Yes, the town sits in a natural bowl. Drainage flows toward it. There are 17 documented springs in the Evergreen area. All of them are probably compromised. Then we evacuate the whole town. Emergency management is working on it, but the roads are clogged. People are panicking. There was a 10-car pileup on I-70 eastbound. Someone tried to drive through the contamination zone near Netherland and their car stopped when the driver calcified at the wheel. They're blocking traffic. The graybeard guy's van is loaded. Kids hanging out the windows. He gives me a thumbs up and pulls out. That's 23 kids evacuated. 277 to go. Mrs. Donnelly is beside me again. What about the kids whose parents won't evacuate? I've got 3 families on the phone right now saying they're coming to get their children and take them home. Home where? Here, in Evergreen. They think their houses are safer than evacuating. Their houses have basements, probably well water, maybe septic systems. All of those are connected to groundwater. They're driving their kids into the contamination. I can't stop parents from taking their own children. She's right, I can't either, but I'm thinking about Lily in my truck. Doors locked, safe, for now. And I'm thinking about these other kids, about the ones whose parents are making the wrong choice because they don't understand the geology, because they think home is safe when home is exactly where the spores are coming up. My phone buzzes. Text from Denise. On my way, 30 minutes out. Traffic terrible. I text back, don't come. Go to Aurora. I have Lily. Meet us there. Immediate response, I need to see her. You will. In Aurora. Do not come to Evergreen. 3 dots. She's typing. Then, why not? I'm about to respond when I hear screaming. Not kid screaming. Adult. Teacher. Coming from the south side of the parking lot where a woman in her 40s is standing next to a Honda Civic, staring at her hands. I'm running before I think about it. Don't touch her. I'm yelling. Nobody touch her. Her hands are white, both of them, up to the wrists, and it's spreading. I can see it creeping up her forearms. The skin going pale, then chalk white, then hard, calcifying in real time. It's cold, she's saying. My hands are so cold. Why are they cold? Mrs. Donnelly is behind me. That's Mrs. Rourke, 5th grade teacher. Oh God. She went back inside. She said she forgot her purse. Mrs. Rourke's looking at me now. Mr. Holt? I can't feel my fingers. I can't. Her voice changes mid-sentence, gets hollow, echoing, like she's talking from inside a cave, because that's what's happening. Her throat is calcifying, her vocal cords turning to chalk. Don't move, I tell her. Stay still, breathe slowly. But she's panicking, moving her arms, and I can hear it, the sound of grinding, bone on bone, or calcium on calcium. Her joints are freezing up, hardening. Someone call 911, Mrs. Donnelly is saying. They won't get here in time, I tell her. Nothing will. Mrs. Rourke's face is going white now, not flushed white, dead white, mineral white. Her eyes are still moving, still human, but the rest of her, She tries to take a step. Her leg doesn't bend. The knees locked, calcified. She tips, off balance. I reach out to catch her and Mrs. Donnelly grabs my arm. Don't. You'll contaminate yourself. Mrs. Rourke hits the pavement. Doesn't shatter. Not yet. But I can see the cracks forming. Spiderweb fractures across her chest, her face, her arms. Her eyes are still moving, looking at me, at Mrs. Donnelly, at the sky. She's still alive in there, still conscious, trapped in a body that's turning to stone around her. And there's nothing I can do. Get the kids away from here. I tell Mrs. Donnelly, don't let them see this. Get them to the far side of the parking lot. But it's too late. They're already seeing it. 300 kids watching their teacher turn into a statue. Watching her eyes move inside a face that doesn't move anymore. Watching the white powder drift off her in the wind. My phone rings. Rodriguez again. We've got FEMA authorization, he says. They're classifying this as a level 4 biological event. Military's being mobilized. But Trevor, they're not evacuating. They're establishing a containment perimeter. What does that mean? It means quarantine. They're going to seal off the contamination zone. Nobody in, nobody out. They'll make exceptions for emergency personnel, but civilians. I'm a civilian. So are 300 elementary school kids. You're USGS. You've got federal credentials. You can get out, but you need to move now, before they establish the perimeter. Once it's set, anyone inside stays inside. I'm looking at Mrs. Rourke, at her eyes still moving, at the 5th graders clustered together, crying, watching their teacher die in slow motion. How long until the perimeter is established? 90 minutes, maybe less. National Guard's already moving into position. 90 minutes. I've got maybe 40 kids evacuated so far. 260 still here. And if I leave now, if I take Lily and drive east before the perimeter closes, I can guarantee she makes it out. But the rest of them won't. Not all of them. Not without more vehicles. Not without more time. There's another option, Rodriguez says. The Sutton mine. If we could seal it, pump it full of concrete or foam or something, we might be able to stop the spore release at the source. You said it's flooded. It is, but there's an old access road. Equipment left behind, including a concrete mixer truck. The mining company just abandoned everything when they closed up. If someone could get that mixer operational, drive it to the mine entrance, pump concrete into the shaft. That would seal it? Maybe, temporarily, long enough to reduce spore concentration in the groundwater. Give people time to evacuate properly. How long would it take? To get the mixer running? I don't know. An hour? To pump enough concrete to seal a mine shaft? Several hours. But Trevor, you can't do this alone. You'd need a team. Equipment, expertise. I'm thinking about the monitoring station, about the equipment shed, about the tools I have there. I've worked construction. I know diesel engines. I know concrete mixers from the drywall days. But I'm also thinking about Lily, about the promise I made to get her to safety, about Denise who's 30 minutes out, driving into a contamination zone that's about to be quarantined. If I go to the mine, I say slowly, if I try to seal it, that's 3-4 hours minimum. The perimeter will be established. I won't be able to get back out. No, you won't. That's why I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just telling you it's an option. But Trevor, your daughter, you need to get her out. Mrs. Yamamoto, the vice principal I never met, is suddenly next to me. Mr. Holt, we've evacuated 60 kids. We've got 8 more vehicles coming back for second loads. But we still have over 200 children here and parents are starting to arrive. Some of them are refusing to evacuate. They're taking their kids home. Tell them not to. I tried. They're not listening. They think the government's overreacting. One father accused me of kidnapping his son when I said we needed to go east. I look at the school. The west-facing windows are completely white now, coated in crystalline powder. The east side is still clear, but I can see dust starting to accumulate around the door frames. The building's compromised, contaminated. In 30 minutes, it'll be uninhabitable. And in 90 minutes, the military will seal off the entire area. Anyone still here will be trapped, including parents who drove into the zone thinking they were rescuing their kids. Rodriguez is still on the line. Trevor, what are you going to do? I'm looking at my truck, at Lily's face in the window. She's scared, crying maybe, waiting for me to come back like I promised. And I'm looking at Mrs. Rourke, at her eyes that don't blink anymore because her eyelids are calcified, at the fifth graders who are going to remember this for the rest of their lives, at Mrs. Yamamoto who's trying to evacuate 300 kids with 8 cars and 90 minutes before quarantine. How do I find the Sutton mine? I ask Rodriguez. Trevor, no. Get your daughter out. That's the priority. Tell me how to find the mine. Silence. Then, take your monitoring station access road. Continue northwest past the station for about 6 miles. There's a fork. Take the left branch. Follows an old mining road. You'll see the head frame. It's rusty but still standing. Can't miss it. And the concrete mixer? Should be in the equipment yard near the shaft entrance. Yellow Mack truck. Might not run. Probably doesn't run. Trevor, this is a bad idea. Everything about today is a bad idea. I hang up. Look at Mrs. Yamamoto. You've got 90 minutes to evacuate everyone you can. After that, military quarantine. Nobody in or out. Make sure parents understand that. If they take their kids home, they're trapped here. Where are you going? To stop this at the source. Maybe. I'm walking toward my truck before I can change my mind. Before I can think too hard about what I'm about to do. Lily sees me coming. Unlocks the door. Dad, can we go now? Please. I get in. Start the engine. Look at my daughter. I need to take you somewhere safe first, I tell her. And then I have to go do something. What's something? Fix this. Try to fix this. Can't someone else fix it? I wish they could. I wish there were someone else. Someone who knew what they were doing. Someone with authority and resources and an actual plan. But Rodriguez said it. You're the only government scientist in Evergreen right now. You're what they've got. I'm what they've got. God help them. I'm not taking Lily to safety. I'm taking her with me to the mine. I know it's wrong. I know Denise will never forgive me if something happens. I know I'm supposed to put my daughter first, always, no matter what. But there's no safe place close enough. The perimeter's closing. If I drive her east to Aurora, that's 45 minutes there, 45 back. 90 minutes total. By the time I get back, the quarantine's in place. The mine stays open. The spores keep coming. Those 200 kids die. So she's coming with me. She'll stay in the truck. Windows up. Vents closed. The respirator's in the back if she needs it, though it won't fit her face properly. 8-year-olds and adult respirators don't match up. I should know that. I should have thought about that. I should have done a lot of things differently today. Where are we going? Lily asks. She stopped crying, but her voice is small, scared. My workstation first, then somewhere else. I need you to be very brave. Can you do that? Is Mom okay? She's fine. She's driving to Aurora. We'll meet her there later. When later? I don't know. The monitoring station looks wrong when we pull up. The equipment shed door is hanging open. I left it unlocked when I ran out. The seismograph papers spilled out onto the ground. white traces blowing in the wind. Looks like contamination dust, but it's just paper. Just data nobody's going to read. The smell is worse here. That wet limestone mushroom smell, so strong it burns my sinuses even with the windows up. The fault vents must have expanded. More cracks opening. More spores releasing. Stay in the truck, I tell Lily. Lock the doors. If you see white powder anywhere near the truck, you honk the horn. 3 long honks. That's the signal. Signal for what? That I need to come back fast. I grab what I need from the equipment shed. The good flashlight, Streamlight, takes 4D batteries, bright enough to read by at 50 yards. Bolt cutters from the emergency kit. The handheld radio tuned to USGS frequencies. And the only thing in here that might count as a weapon. A 3-foot pry bar, 16 pounds of forged steel, designed for opening stuck doors and breaking rocks. My phone rings as I'm loading everything into the truck bed. Denise. Where are you? She demands. I'm almost to Evergreen. Where's Lily? She's with me. Don't come to Evergreen. They're establishing a quarantine perimeter. Military. If you drive in, you won't be able to leave. I don't care. I want my daughter. Denise, listen. No, you listen. I know what you do when things get hard. You disappear into your work. You go fix your sensors and your computers and you forget about real people. You did it to me. You're not doing it to Lily. She's not wrong. She's really not wrong. That's exactly what I did during our marriage. Every fight, every problem, I'd go check the seismographs. Tell myself it was important work. Tell myself the data couldn't wait. But this is different. This time the work actually matters. This time people die if I don't try. I'm taking her somewhere safe. I lie. Then I'm going to seal the contamination source. After that, we'll meet you in Aurora. Where is somewhere safe? Trevor, what are you planning? I hang up. Turn off the phone. She'll hate me for that. Add it to the list. The mining road is worse than I expected. Washed out in places. Overgrown. I'm doing maybe 15 miles an hour, the F-150 bouncing over ruts and rocks. Lily's gripping the door handle. Not complaining. Just holding on. Dad, what if the truck breaks? It won't break. But what if it does? Then we walk. Walk where? Good question. Walk where? Back to the station? That's 6 miles. Back to Evergreen? 10 miles through contaminated terrain. Forward to the mine? Unknown distance through unknown contamination levels. There is no safe answer. There hasn't been a safe answer since Tuesday's earthquake. The Sutton Mine head frame appears through the trees like a rusty skeleton. 40 feet tall, steel girders orange with decay, cable wheels frozen. The kind of industrial archaeology you see all over the Colorado mountains. Ghost towns and abandoned mines and equipment left to rot when the silver ran out or the company went bankrupt or both. The equipment yard is worse than Rodriguez described. Not just abandoned, ransacked, vandalized. Probably copper thieves and metal scrappers over the years. Most of the good equipment is gone. But the concrete mixer is still here. Yellow Mack truck like Rodriguez said. Tires flat. Windows broken. Bird shit all over the hood. And white powder everywhere. Not dust. Not accumulation. This is thick. Inches deep in places. Coating every surface like snow. The entire mine yard is contaminated. Has been for days probably. Since Tuesday's quake opened the deep faults. I stopped the truck 100 yards back. Far enough that we're not breathing the worst of it. Close enough that I can see the mine entrance. A concrete collar around a 10-foot shaft. Steel grate partially collapsed. White powder pouring out like smoke from a chimney. I need to go out there. I tell Lily. You stay here. Windows up. If you see the powder getting close to the truck, you drive away. You know how to drive. Dad, I'm 8. I know. But if you have to, you turn the key, you push this pedal, touching the gas, and you steer away from the white stuff. Can you do that? She's crying now. I don't want you to go out there. I have to. Those people at your school, Mrs. Rourke, Mr. Patterson, this is what's making them sick. If I can stop it here, they'll be okay. All of them. Another lie. Mrs. Rourke is already gone. Mr. Patterson shattered in the parking lot. But maybe the ones who haven't been exposed yet. Maybe the 200 kids still waiting for evacuation. Maybe them. I put on the respirator. Check the seal. The world gets quiet again. Just my breathing and my heartbeat inside the mask. I love you, I tell Lily. My voice sounds muffled through the respirator. Distant. If something happens, if Mom calls, or if the radio makes noise, you tell them where we are. Northwest of monitoring station 447. Tell them your dad tried to seal the mine. They'll understand. Nothing's going to happen. Right? Nothing's going to happen. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I'm out of the truck before I can think about it more. Before I can calculate the actual risk. Before I can acknowledge that I'm walking into contamination that turned a grown man to stone in under an hour. The mixer truck looks worse up close. Engine compartment is open. Probably scrappers pulled the battery and anything copper. But the drum is intact. The pump system looks functional. And there's a diesel generator nearby, also yellow, also Mac, covered in bird shit and white powder but maybe operational. I'm circling the mixer when I hear the sound. Not the low rumble of ground movement. Something else. Higher pitched. Almost like singing. Or like wind through a cave. It's coming from the mine shaft. I move closer. The steel grate is twisted, broken in places. Easy enough to climb past. The white powder is ankle deep here. I can feel it compressing under my boots. Sticky. Not dry like dust. More like wet chalk. The shaft entrance is breathing. I can see it. White powder rising and falling like lungs. And that sound, it's not wind. It's too regular. Too rhythmic. My radio crackles. Rodriguez. Trevor, you there? I key the mic. My voice sounds mechanical through the respirator. I'm at the mine. The mixer's here, but it's not operational. Engine's been stripped. Can you fix it? I don't know. Maybe. But Rodriguez, there's something wrong here. The shaft is making noise. Like breathing. Or singing. That's the spore colonies. They're acoustic. They vibrate at specific frequencies. Part of how they spread, the vibrations shake loose more spores, launch them into air currents. Don't get close to the shaft. The concentration near active vents is static. The radio cuts out. Rodriguez? You there? Nothing. I check the radio. Still powered. Still on frequency. But no signal. I'm alone. I turn back to the mixer truck. Focus on what I can control. The engine's gone, but the pump is mechanical. Powered by an external source. If I can get the generator running, if I can rig a connection, maybe I can operate the pump manually. Force whatever's left in the drum down the shaft. The generator takes 15 minutes to start. Fuel lines clogged. I clear it with the pry bar, field stripping the injector valve like I'm back doing construction in my 20s. My hands are shaking. The respirator's face shield is fogging. But the generator coughs, sputters, catches. Running rough but running. Now the pump. I'm tracing hydraulic lines when I hear the horn. 3 long blasts from my truck. Lily. I turn. The F-150 is 50 yards back. And between it and me, the white powder is moving. Not blowing. Moving. Crawling across the ground like something alive. Tendrils extending toward the truck. Toward my daughter. I'm running. The pry bar's in my hand. Like it'll do any good against fungal spores. But I'm running anyway. Boots crunching through contaminated ground. Breathing hard inside the respirator. The powder reaches the truck's rear tire, starts climbing, up the wheel well, onto the tailgate, spreading. I'm there, grabbing Lily from the driver's seat. She moved there, reaching for the horn, good girl, smart girl, and I'm backing away from the truck as the powder engulfs it, coating the bed, the roof, the windows, everything turning white. Don't touch me, I tell Lily. Just follow me. Stay 3 feet back. Keep your shirt over your mouth. We're moving away from the truck, away from the mine shaft, but there's nowhere to go. The powder is everywhere. It's in the air, on the ground, climbing the trees. The entire mine yard is becoming white. My phone, the one I turned off, is ringing in my pocket. I can feel it vibrating. Denise probably, calling back, wanting to know where her daughter is. I don't answer. Dad, what do we do? Lily's voice is small, terrified. What do we do? Good question. The truck's gone, contaminated. We're on foot in a contamination zone with a quarantine perimeter closing around us. The mine's still breathing spores. The concrete mixer's non-functional. And I've got my 8-year-old daughter with me because I made the worst decision of my life. The radio crackles again. Different voice. Not Rodriguez. Military frequency bleeding through. Perimeter established at Highway 74. No civilian traffic beyond this point. Repeat, contamination zone is now under federal quarantine. Any civilians remaining inside the perimeter are ordered to shelter in place and await decontamination teams. Shelter in place, right? Where? In the mine yard that's ankle-deep in spores? In my truck that's turning white while I watch? I look at Lily, at her face, at the fear there, at the trust that's starting to crack because she's realizing her dad doesn't have a plan. Her dad doesn't know what to do. Her dad made a terrible choice and now they're both going to die for it. And then I see him, at the edge of the mine yard, standing near the tree line. Rodriguez. He's in full hazmat gear, orange containment suit, external air supply, the kind CDC uses for level 4 biohazards. And he's not alone. There are 2 others with him, also suited. They're setting up equipment, big equipment, a pump system on a trailer, industrial scale. Waves, points to his radio. I switch to channel 7. Rodriguez? How did you? I wasn't going to let you do this alone. We've got a foam polymer system, experimental, designed for sealing fractured wells. If we can pump it into the shaft before the spore concentration gets too high, it might seal the upper level. By time for evacuation. I've got Lily with me. She's exposed. We're both exposed. I see that. Get her into the Deccan tent. It's behind us. Yellow tent. There's an air shower. It'll remove surface contamination. Won't help if she's breathed too much, but it's better than nothing. I'm moving. Lily following. The yellow tent is their portable decontamination unit, probably borrowed from hazmat response team. Inside, it's like a car wash. Air jets. Chemical spray. Loud. Terrifying for an 8-year-old. But Lily's brave. She stands in the spray, lets the air blast the powder off her clothes, her hair, her skin. When she comes out, she's shaking, soaked, but the white powder is gone. One of the hazmat team, a woman's voice through the suit speaker, hands me a respirator, child-sized. Put this on her. Make sure the seal is tight. I do. Lily doesn't fight it. She's in survival mode now, following instructions, being brave like I asked. Dad, her voice is muffled through the mask. Are we going to die? I want to lie, want to tell her everything's fine, but I'm looking at the mine shaft, at the white powder still pouring out, at Rodriguez and his team struggling to get the pump system into position, at the contamination spreading through the trees down the mountain toward Evergreen, toward my monitoring station, toward every town and city in the Front Range. And I know the truth. The foam might slow it down, might seal the upper shaft temporarily. But the spore colonies are in the deep geology, in fault networks that run for miles, in groundwater that feeds aquifers across 3 counties. Rodriguez said it himself, Precambrian structures, some of the oldest, deepest geology in North America. We're not stopping this. We're just dying slower. I don't know, I tell my daughter. I don't know if we're going to die. She nods, like that's an acceptable answer, like honesty is what she needed. Rodriguez's team has the pump in position, the hose running into the shaft, the foam system activating, white polymer foam mixing with white fungal powder. Impossible to tell which is which. Pumping now, Rodriguez says over the radio. If this works, we'll see pressure increase in the shaft. Foam will expand, seal the upper levels. Spore release should decrease within 10 minutes. We wait. I'm holding Lily's hand through my contaminated glove, probably transferring spores, probably killing us both. But I'm holding her hand anyway because she's my daughter and I promised to protect her and I failed and this is all I can do now. 5 minutes. The singing from the shaft gets louder. 10 minutes. The pressure gauge on Rodriguez's pump spikes, then drops. Something gave way. The foam found a path. Secondary vent opening, Rodriguez says. His voice is flat, defeated. The foam's breaking through to a parallel shaft. We're not sealing it. We're just redirecting flow. 15 minutes. The white powder is everywhere now, coating the trees, the ground, Rodriguez's equipment, everything. I look at Lily, at her respirator, at her eyes above the mask, still human, still my daughter. And then I see the white spreading across her left hand, the hand I'm holding, the one that was exposed in the truck, the one that touched the door handle after I touched it with my contaminated gloves. It's starting. Lily, my voice breaks. Lily, let go of my hand. Why? Just let go, please. She sees it then, the white creeping across her skin, starting to harden. She tries to pull away, but I'm holding on. Because if I let go, if I acknowledge what's happening, that makes it real. Dad, it's cold. My hand is cold. The same thing Mrs. Rourke said, right before she turned to stone in the parking lot. I'm ripping off my glove, grabbing the chemical spray from the Deccan tent, dousing Lily's hand, scrubbing. The white powder smears but doesn't come off, because it's not on her skin anymore. It's in her skin, part of her skin, replacing her skin. Rodriguez, I'm screaming into the radio. Rodriguez, she's calcifying. What do I do? Tell me what to do. Static. Then his voice. Quiet. There's nothing you can do. I'm sorry. Once it starts, it's irreversible. The fungal structures replace cellular tissue at the molecular level. We don't have a treatment. We don't even have a theory. Lily's looking at her hand, watching it turn white, watching her fingers stiffen. She's not crying. She's in shock. Or maybe she's too scared to cry. How long? I ask Rodriguez. Based on observed cases, 30 minutes to full calcification. Maybe longer for a child. Lower body mass, slower spread. But eventually, don't say it. She'll stop, moving, breathing, everything. But she might still be conscious. For a while. We don't know. The statues, some of them show eye movement for hours after complete calcification. I'm looking at my daughter, at the white spreading past her wrist, up her forearm, visible through her pink jacket sleeve, the Target jacket she was so excited about. And I understand now what the choice is. I can let this happen. Let the calcification take her. Let her become one of the statues. Frozen, conscious, trapped inside stone while her mind slowly dies over hours or days or weeks. while she experiences every second of becoming a thing instead of a person. Or I can stop it. The pry bar is in my hand. 16 pounds of forged steel. I could make it fast. One strike. She wouldn't feel it. Wouldn't have time to be afraid. Just gone. Human until the last second. Not stone. Not a statue. Not a thing. But I'd have to do it. I'd have to be the one. I'd have to kill my daughter to save her from something worse than death. Dad. Lily's voice through the respirator. I know, baby. I know. The white is past her elbow now, spreading faster. Her arm is stiffening. She tries to bend it and can't. The joints are locking, calcifying. 30 minutes, Rodriguez said. 30 minutes until she's stone. 29 now. I'm looking at the pry bar in my hand. Looking at my daughter's face. Trying to decide if love means letting her live through the horror or ending it before she has to. Trying to decide what kind of father I am. What kind of monster. I didn't do it. I stood there with the pry bar in my hand for 28 minutes while my daughter turned to stone, and I didn't do it. I told myself I was being strong, giving her every possible second, hoping for a miracle that didn't come. But the truth is simpler and worse. I was a coward. I couldn't kill my own daughter even when killing her would have been mercy. So Lily calcified, full body, the white spread from her hand up her arm, across her chest, down her legs, up her neck, over her face. Her respirator fell off when her facial structure changed, hardened. The straps couldn't hold to stone. She stopped talking at minute 19. Her vocal cords calcified mid-sentence. She was asking about her mom. When will we see? And then nothing. Just silence and that grinding sound of calcium on calcium as her jaw locked open. She stopped moving at minute 24. Her legs froze mid-step. She was trying to walk toward me, trying to get closer, and her knees locked. She tipped, caught her, held her upright, felt her weight increase as tissue converted to mineral, felt her get heavier and colder until she wasn't Lily anymore, just a statue shaped like my daughter. Her eyes stopped moving at minute 31. That's when I knew she was gone, really gone, not just trapped, not still conscious inside a stone prison, just gone. Rodriguez pulled me away from her at minute 35. Said I was contaminated beyond any decontamination protocol. Said I'd be calcifying within the hour. Said we needed to get me somewhere they could observe the process, document it, learn something that might help the next person. I told him to fuck off. He left, took his team and his foam pump and his experimental sealant that didn't work. Left me and Lily in the mine yard. Left us with the white powder and the singing shafts and the contaminated trees. I'm still here. That was 6 hours ago. I should be stoned by now. Rodriguez's projections said 60 minutes maximum. But I'm still flesh, still breathing, still able to move my fingers, all of them, even the ones that touched the powder first, the ones that held Lily's calcifying hand. Maybe I have some resistance. Some genetic quirk. Maybe the respirator filtered enough spores that my exposure level is subcritical. Maybe I'm just lucky in the worst possible way. Lucky enough to stay human while everyone I was supposed to protect turns to chalk. The quarantine perimeter is real. I can see it from here, the military checkpoint on Highway 74, 3 miles east. Humvees and soldiers and chain link fence. Nobody in, nobody out. The contamination zone is sealed. Everyone inside stays inside. Including me, including Lily, including 237 Evergreen residents who didn't evacuate in time. I know the number because it's on the radio, the NOAA emergency frequency that keeps broadcasting updates. 237 confirmed civilians inside the perimeter. 17 confirmed calcifications. 106 showing symptoms. the rest sheltering in place awaiting decontamination teams that probably aren't coming. Mrs. Donnelly's voice came through on the school's emergency channel around 2 p.m. She got everyone out. All 300 kids evacuated before the perimeter closed. Personal vehicles, buses that finally arrived, a National Guard transport that showed up at the last minute. Everyone east of Highway 74 now. Safe. Everyone except Lily. Denise has called 43 times. The phone's dead now. Battery gave out around hour 4, but I counted the rings before it died. 43 calls. Each one going to voicemail. Each one Denise not knowing if I'm alive, if Lily's alive, if we're together or apart or stone or flesh. I should call her back. Rodriguez left a satellite phone. It's in the Deccan tent, still functional. I could walk over there right now, pick it up, tell Denise what happened. Tell her our daughter died because I made the wrong choice. Because I brought her with me instead of sending her to safety. Because I contaminated her with my own stupidity and then stood there watching her calcify because I was too weak to end it fast. I don't pick up the phone. What would I even say? The mine's still singing. That high-pitched vibration coming from the shaft. It hasn't stopped. Rodriguez's foam didn't seal anything. The spores are still coming, still spreading. The entire Front Range is contaminated now according to the radio. Boulder, Golden, Idaho Springs, Georgetown, every mountain town west of Denver, all quarantined, all waiting to see if their water is compromised, if their basements are breathing poison, if their children will start calcifying in the middle of third period math. They're calling it the fault breach, capital F, capital B, like it's a proper noun, like it deserves a name, the Colorado Fault Breach. Seismic biocontamination event. Prehistoric fungal structures released from Precambrian geology. CDC is baffled. FEMA is overwhelmed. The military is establishing containment, but they're not talking about cleanup. They're talking about long-term quarantine. They're talking about acceptable losses. Evergreen is an acceptable loss. Lily is an acceptable loss. I'm looking at her now. My daughter. The statue. She's still standing where she froze. Mid-step, arms slightly extended, jaw locked open. The detail is perfect. I can see the individual threads in her jacket, the texture of her braids. The pink color has calcified too, the jacket's still pink, but mineral pink, stone pink, wrong pink. Her eyes are white, completely white. No pupils, no iris. Just blank calcium orbs that used to be brown, that used to look at me with trust. I should move her, take her somewhere. But where? Everywhere is contaminated. And if I move her, pieces might fall off. The statues are fragile. Mrs. Rourke shattered when she fell. Mr. Patterson broke into chunks. Lily hasn't cracked yet, but she might. Any movement might fracture her. So I leave her standing. I sit on the ground 15 feet away and I watch her not move. The radio crackles. Military frequency. Attention quarantine zone residents. Decontamination protocols are being established. Remain in your current location. Do not attempt to breach the perimeter. Lethal force is authorized for containment purposes. Repeat, lethal force is authorized. Lethal force, right? Because the real threat isn't the fungal spores turning people to stone. The real threat is contaminated civilians trying to escape, trying to spread the infection beyond the mountains. Can't have that. Can't have Denver calcifying. Can't have the whole country turning white. Better to seal off the mountains. Better to let everyone inside die or calcify or whatever this is. Better to protect the majority. I understand the logic. I'm a scientist. I understand containment theory. I understand acceptable losses. I just never thought my daughter would be one of them. Rodriguez calls on the sat phone around hour 5. I don't answer. He calls again and again. On the 7th attempt, I pick up. Trevor, thank God. We thought you'd calcified. Not yet. Still waiting. You should be, the exposure level you had, you should be stoned by now. Maybe I'm immune. Maybe I'm just slow. Does it matter? Silence. Then, we need you to document what you're observing. The calcification progression, the environmental contamination, the spore behavior. You're the only scientific observer still functional inside the perimeter. You want me to take notes while people die. I want you to help us understand this. So fewer people die. There are 26 active fault breaches now across the Front Range. The contamination is spreading faster than projections. If we can understand the progression, the vectors, the resistance factors. My daughter is Stone Rodriguez. She's standing 20 feet from me and she's stone. You want me to measure her? Take samples? Document the calcification pattern for your fucking research. I'm sorry about Lily. But I hang up. He doesn't call back. The sun's setting now. Orange light through contaminated trees. Everything looks normal from a distance. Just Colorado autumn. Aspens turning, air getting cold, that thin mountain clarity. You can't see the white powder in this light. Can't see the statues scattered through the forest. Can't see the apocalypse. From a distance, it's beautiful. Up close, it's a graveyard. I should be making plans. Survival plans. Find uncontaminated water. Find shelter. Find food. The quarantine could last months. Years, maybe. The military isn't talking about rescue. They're talking about containment perimeter duration, long-term monitoring, ongoing assessment. They're talking about leaving us here to die. But I'm not making plans. I'm sitting on contaminated ground watching my daughter not move, and I'm thinking about the choices I made today. Taking Lily with me instead of driving her to safety. That was choice 1. Bringing her to the mine. That was choice 2. Contaminating her with my gloves. That was choice 3. Not killing her when I had the chance. That was choice 4. Every choice wrong. Every choice making things worse. Every choice proving that competence means nothing when the situation is impossible. I monitor seismographs. I read data. I download files. That's my job. That's what I'm trained for. I'm not trained for saving the world. I'm not trained for sealing ancient mines. I'm not trained for mercy killings or containment breaches or watching my daughter turn to stone. But I tried anyway, because Rodriguez said I was what they had. Because someone had to do something. Because I thought maybe, just maybe, my boring job and my boring skills and my boring life might mean something when it mattered. They didn't. All I did was get Lily killed. The radio's still broadcasting. Same emergency loop. Shelter in place. Await decontamination. Remain calm. Help is coming. Help isn't coming. I know it. Everyone inside the perimeter knows it. The military knows it. The CDC knows it. FEMA knows it. The Colorado fault breach isn't something you clean up. It's something you contain. It's something you seal off and abandon and hope it doesn't spread beyond the mountains. We're already written off. Already acceptable losses. Already dead. We just haven't stopped moving yet. My hands are shaking. Not from cold. From something else. I hold them up in the fading light. Still flesh-colored. Still mobile. Still human. But for how long? Rodriguez said 60 minutes. It's been 6 hours. Maybe I am resistant. Maybe something in my genetics, my blood chemistry, my immune system is fighting the calcification. Slowing it. Delaying it. Or maybe it's just building. Accumulating. Getting ready to hit all at once. Maybe I'll be talking 1 second and stone the next. Maybe that's how it works for resistant cases. Slow exposure, sudden conversion. I should pick up the satellite phone. Call Denise. Tell her what happened. Give her closure. Let her know Lily didn't suffer, which is a lie. Lily suffered, But maybe Denise doesn't need to know that. Maybe I can give her the lie, the mercy of not knowing. But I don't pick up the phone. Because what if Denise asks about the pry bar? What if she asks if there was any other choice? What if she figures out that I stood there for 28 minutes with the means to end it fast and I chose not to? Chose to let Lily experience every second of becoming stone? What if she asks me to explain that choice? I can't. I can't explain it to Denise. I can't explain it to Rodriguez. I can't explain it to myself. All I know is my daughter died badly and I watched it happen, and that's something I'm going to carry for however long I have left. Days maybe, weeks if I'm unlucky, however long it takes for the spores to finish what they started. The mine's still singing. That sound hasn't changed, hasn't stopped. The foam seal failed. The contamination continues. The spores keep coming. And I'm still here, still breathing, still human, still watching my daughter not move, still living with what I did and didn't do. The radio crackles one more time. Different voice, civilian, probably pirate broadcast from somewhere inside the quarantine zone. This is Evergreen Emergency Broadcast. If anyone can hear this, if anyone's still alive, the school is compromised. The hospital is compromised. Most basements are compromised. We're organizing survivors at the library. Second floor. Bring water if you have it. Bring respirators. Bring any medical supplies. We're not waiting for decontamination teams. We're getting out on our own. I should go, should help, should use whatever resistance I have to get people organized, get them moving, get them east somehow. But I'm looking at Lily, at the statue that used to be my daughter, at her white eyes that don't see me, at her stone face that doesn't forgive me. And I know I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here, at the mine, with her, until the calcification takes me too, until I'm stone next to her, until we're both just contaminated statues in a contaminated forest waiting for the quarantine to lift or the world to end or someone to finally admit that the Colorado fault breach isn't something you survive. It's something you become part of. The white powder is on my hands now. I can see it in the last light. Just traces. Just the beginning. My fingers are getting cold. Getting stiff. It's starting. Finally. Rodriguez was right about the timeline. He was just wrong about when the clock started. Not when I first touched the powder. When I first breathed it. When I first chose to come to this mine instead of driving my daughter to safety. That's when the calcification began. Everything after was just waiting. I'm still watching Lily, watching her not move. My vision's getting strange. Colors fading. Everything shifting toward white, toward mineral, toward stone. This is what she saw. In those last minutes, the world draining of color. Everything becoming the same chalky white. Everything becoming the same. I want to tell her I'm sorry. Want to say something. But my throat's going tight. Vocal cords calcifying. The words won't come. So I just sit here, watching, waiting, becoming. The mine keeps singing. The powder keeps spreading. And somewhere beyond the quarantine perimeter, in Aurora or Denver or somewhere safe and clean and far from the mountains, Denise is waiting for a phone call that's never coming. Waiting to hear what happened to her daughter. Waiting to hear what happened to me. She'll never know the details. Never know about the mine or the choice or the 28 minutes. Never know that Lily's last words were about her. About seeing her mom. That's something, I guess. That's one thing I can give Denise. The mercy of not knowing exactly how badly I failed. My hands are completely white now. Stone white. The fingers won't bend. I can feel my chest getting tight. Ribs calcifying. Lungs hardening. Won't be long. I'm looking at Lily. At my daughter. At the statue. At the thing I couldn't save and couldn't kill and couldn't protect. At the only thing that matters in this contaminated world. The last thought I have before the calcification reaches my brain is this. I should have driven her to Aurora. I should have put her first. I should have been a better father.